This is gonna be about payment ways, like ways to pay, basically, and how they could actually kinda um, affect your relationships. Today is, I think, not quite the best day for making the intros. But hello, welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. And today, we're actually going through an ideastodet.com article once again, because I don't know, it is so not stressful, and it is so just really nice, and I do just know that I'm, quite able to go through the whole thing in one run, and that everything will be fine, and there's also a lot of value in each of them, which is quite great, which is enormously great. But I'm actually a little bit in a hurry, unfortunately, because I've been up to this point, been wasting quite a lot of time, unfortunately. I don't know why, to some degree, so my train was somehow not going to my destination, so not going to my home, unfortunately, which is, which actually let me, be at home, I think actually an hour later or something, which is definitely something, it is an hour, and in this hour I could have done just, the podcast, so everything was quite delayed up to this point, but yeah, and I've also been a little bit like, yeah, I've just been wasting time a little bit, definitely. I'm not gonna just actually blame only the train and only other things than me, but I'm also the one to be blamed. Like, I've really not been very efficient with my time today somehow. I've been outside for quite an hour and even more because I felt it, which is, I still think, something you should also be doing. That if you feel something, that if you just really feel like, okay, you're gonna have to outside, you're gonna have to go outside, because it would just go crazy or just, really go crazy, then I would just hop outside. Like, I think that's totally fine, and I think that's totally okay. But yeah, I'm still gonna have to just be a little bit faster today with everything that I have to do today, which actually are all just creative things, which is actually not that great for time management, because I do like to just take my time with my creative stuff, like especially for school things. I don't know, like, I just want to do something good. I really do want to do something good, and I'm gonna just work on these things as long as I kind of feel like it is good. I think there's only been one thing in this year for school that was actually not quite satisfying for me. I didn't like it in the end. All the other things, I at least liked it in the end. But it is often the case, I don't know if you know that, but it actually is often for me the case that I'm doing something and I kind of feel like, this is fucking great, and then a day afterwards I feel like, okay, it's actually not that great, and I think it's quite funny. But that is not actually the topic of today, because today's episode is about the subtle, surprising way that payment apps may be affecting your relationships. You might think, like, why does he have chosen this fucking article? I have to say, there was no better one. And there was another one which was about why people are creepy and how people can be creepy, and why we actually feel like that people are creepy. So in terms of the psychological background of that, which was also quite interesting, which was really quite interesting, but I didn't really feel good by just reading through it kind of before I started the episode. I just want to see if there's something interesting in it, and if there's something, I don't know, but maybe it was just too creepy for me, just to really be honest. I don't fucking know. I really don't know why I've not chosen this, but I've chosen this one, and I do still think that it is quite interesting, and I'm quite looking forward to what they're actually going to say. And it is also quite a short text, as I see right now. Actually, the tonality today in my fucking room is somehow pretty echoey, which is not that nice, actually. But let's see. So It is actually from the business section of the ideas.that.com website, and it is called, once again, the subtle surprising way that payment apps may be affecting your relationships. Apps like Venmo, Square Cash, Sell or Selly, it is SAT, ELLE, and PayPal have streamlined our lives, but they could also be negatively influencing people's attitudes towards you. And here is how. This post is a part of Ted's How to Be a Better Human series, and each of which contains a piece of helpful advice from someone in the TED community. Browse through all the posts here. Actually pretty enormously good posts. Like, all of them are written just really good at my point of view, or as far as I can actually judge it, because I'm not a native speaker. I'm not educated in just English or in something else. My writing skills in general also aren't that good, so I don't know. I really don't. But yeah, let's go straight ahead. Remember those pre-smartphone days when you would spot a friend for a meal or a drink? They would respond by saying, "Hey, the next time's on me," and you would trust, believe, hope that they would remember. Depending on the friend. It actually is depending on the friend. And it is pretty sad that I can't say. I really can't say okay, that's totally true and this is just how I've always felt and I've always thought, because I'm just too young. I'm really too young. And but to truly be honest and to truly kind of stop here for a little bit, I'm very, very happy to be young, because I'm able to see so much new shit that's coming up in the next 50, 60, 70, 80 years, and I'm gonna still be living. And this is also one of the reasons why I do just care about my health so much, and why I do care about my proper nutrition, and why I do care about actually getting in my exercise. Because I truly want to live long, because I'm just really looking forward to these flying cars, I'm just really seeing them. No, I really somehow do. And it would be just amazing for me. It would just be amazing for me if I would actually be able in my lifetime to see flying cars, the newest technology, and I hope I'm not gonna be such a typical quote-unquote old man who is, first of all, pretty sad and mad all the time. I hope, and I do not think that I'm just gonna be such a person. But also, there are a lot of old people. Well, and I think there's also quite a lot of the opposite. But there are quite a lot of old people who actually do just give a fuck about technology. Actually, my grandpa is not such a person. He's having an iPhone. He just really likes to use it. He, plays some games and whatsoever. But still, he just, I guess he thinks that it is cool somehow. And yeah, I really hope that I'm gonna be just so into all the new kind of technological stuff and all these new things that we're gonna also research. I think this is gonna be also pretty fucking interesting. What we are going to study, what will all the kind of laws will be in the future. Because now, especially in terms of drugs, I do think that a lot of countries do have some certain just pretty interesting policies which somehow do not make any sense. There is a whole alcohol and cannabis debate. I do not want to get into that, but I kind of feel like, what Portugal is, I hope it is actually called Portugal. I don't fucking know. I hope. So, this country, Portugal, where every single drug is allowed. So there is no kind of restriction on what drugs you can use, consume, or whatever. And it has been just working pretty great up to this point. I think they have kind of reduced the amount of drugs that are being used for or of about, I think it was 10% or something. So it totally was something. It totally was quite a bit. And it was, I don't know, I think it's quite interesting. The question there is if it is actually working in every single country the same, because, well, at the moment, I don't feel like that this is going to be quite the same exact thing. Maybe in some countries it will get more negative. Maybe in some countries it will get more positive, but I don't know. What I just know for myself is that I'm so fucking happy that I'm young and that I might be able to see just really great technology. Really great technology. And also looking forward to 5G. I just really have to inform myself a little bit more about that and have to educate myself on it a little bit more, because I think I just don't know everything about it. I just really don't know quite anything about it, to be fucking honest. But I still guess that it is gonna just really change a lot of things. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that. But in general, new technology. I'm just really interested in that. I always kind of watch videos while I'm just doing something, while I'm working, or just because I want it, which are about technology, about smartphones, PCs. It's been always quite an interesting thing for me. Maybe because of my brother, because he was always just also into these things, but a little bit more than me. So I've definitely learned a lot of things from him. But yeah, let's go on. So today, payment apps like Venmo, Square Cash, Sally, and PayPal have made such casual exchanges obsolete. No longer must we rely on loose words and leaky memories. The apps let us send money to someone else on the spot. Their existence has eased our lives, transforming potentially sticky situations into simple, straightforward transactions, right? By the way, the only thing that I'm using is actually my debit card. And I'm sometimes actually do have to just send some money to somebody online. But in general, first of all, I don't buy anything. I really don't. Like, the only things that I'm buying is just the lunch that I'm having to just have in school. Without it, I would just fucking die or something. But I'm just not doing something else with my money. I'm just saving everything. I just really try to not, to also not spend a lot of money on the lunch that I'm buying myself, on the food that I'm buying myself. And I'm always just trying to save as much money as I possibly can. I'm not buying some dumb shit. And I'm also not buying some really expensive dumb shit in terms of, I could buy myself a fucking apple for, I don't know, €1 or $1, and some just, would buy a fucking apple for $2. And I think I'm gonna buy the one for $1. And sometimes, which is actually something that I kind of think about as like, do I really have to do it? If it is really actually kind of necessary that I'm looking just so that I'm watching and or just really trying to not kind of spend too much money on things that I'm even... So there are a few sorts of tomato cans. There are these chopped tomatoes and there are these whole tomatoes and the kind of just really, soupy tomatoes where they just get pulverized somehow, so they just get, processed. Yeah, I think they just get processed, so that you just have this kind of juice of this tomato to actually kind of cook your spaghetti with and whatsoever. You can do a lot of things with that. But the funny thing is the chopped tomatoes. I think somehow like 5 cents, 3 cents or something more expensive than the whole tomatoes. The problem with the whole tomatoes is that in school I do not have proper plates and whatsoever, so it's quite shitty if I'm buying these kind of whole tomatoes, even though they taste good. And also the juice that is in the can is actually pretty nice if you're eating them with lentils and so on. I just really like it. It really tastes good, and it is so fucking cheap. It is just extremely fucking cheap. I'm actually kind of feeling a little bit bad that I've just seen this so fucking late. I've actually been discovering it like just a month ago or 2 months ago or something. And since that day I've actually only been eating some really cheap bread, but which is actually pretty healthy, which is a funny thing. This fucking bread costs 75 cents. 75 cents. It is not a wheat bread. It is like I don't know what it is actually called in English, but it is just not wheat. It is pretty important for me because I don't know. I just know that it is unhealthy somehow. I don't actually know why, but I just don't eat it. And still it is the cheapest fucking bread you can buy. Still, it might not be the best bread, might not be the best tasting bread. It is this bread that is dry somehow. Like it is somehow compromised through just all this corn that there's no flour in it actually, I guess. There's only like just kind of chopped up corn or something. Not like corn in terms of corn, but like I don't actually know how to explain it, but it actually is a bread without flour and so on, and it is only costing 75 cents. Then the chopped tomatoes, which I'm never ever buying. I'm always buying the fucking whole potatoes, not potatoes, but tomatoes, because they're cheaper, even though it's 5 cents. I would rather take the 5-cent fucking whole tomatoes, even though they are not as nice to eat. Because I think like, no, I'm not gonna buy the thing that is just more expensive only because I want to have it more convenient. I don't really want to do that. I just really want to get just the cheapest one because it's fucking the same thing. Like if I'm buying these chopped tomatoes or the whole tomatoes, doesn't make any sense. It's like only more convenient for me to eat the chopped up tomatoes. But yeah, at the end, I normally also try at the moment to not pay more than $2 or €2 for each meal that I'm having in school. So each lunch that I'm having in school should be below €2. Right? Question mark. I've actually stopped there. So their existence has eased our lives, transforming potentially sticky situations into simple, straightforward transactions. Right? Well, not quite. As it turns out, they could be harming our relationships. Imagine this scenario. You're at dinner with your friends, May and Steven. When the bill arrives, it's $60.75. The three of you already said you would split it evenly. Steven puts down his credit card to cover the total. He wants the points. So you and May agree, which totally makes sense that he wants the whether it be the cashback points or some other points, I don't fucking know. So you and May agree to each send him 1/3 of the total. You, wanting to be fair, give him the exact amount, 21.25, while May runs down to 21. Who is Steven more likely to have negative feelings toward, you or May? The funny thing is they say you. I would actually have said May. Well, I guess there's something coming up that I do not expect because I'm never ever using this kind of feature. I've never ever given someone money. Well, that's not quite true. I do make transaction, but I'm normally doing that via my just bank account. Like I'm not doing it with PayPal or something because I don't know. Like, I could just figure it out how it works, but I do not see any advantage. Maybe there is an advantage. Maybe not. I don't fucking know. In general, transactions are for free, as I know. Only if you're just having a transaction to and foreign country. I guess this is the only thing where you do, or a foreign currency, I guess. This could also be the thing. And it would also make sense because I guess there might be some things that they do just have to do, which just takes a lot of time and effort and whatsoever. But it is actually you. You won't be liked by Steven anymore. In a paper published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology, researchers Tami Kim and Ting Zhang, I don't actually know. I would actually be happy if I would actually be able to pronounce that, and Michael Norton learned that being a stickler for exact change causes people to perceive you as petty or petty. It is trivial, trifling, small, slight, unimportant, insignificant. You've seen as being overly attentive to trivial details and think less fondly of your relationship. In their study, they showed participants the Venmo transaction histories for 2 different people. One showed the individual paying back their friends using round numbers like $10, $35, and $20. The other showed the individual paying back specific amounts like $9.99, $33.95, and $20.06. The participants were asked to pick who would rather be friends with, and the overwhelming majority, 81%, chose the person who paid in round amounts rather than the exact change. I do just have to say something there. You can totally see, and I actually can now use the fucking close-up feature that I'm never ever fucking using, and I don't know why. You can see there. They are pointing out, and I can actually, they are pointing out that the first one is paying 10, 35, and $20. And the exact change would have been $9.99, $33.99, and $26. So basically, this person is always just paying the exact amount, which totally is obvious, but it is only, just expect the last one, it is always just below the amount of money that the other person, like with $10 and $35, has spent or has given to their friend. The problem that I'm seeing there is that that he's actually giving him the accurate amount of money, and she not. And I would totally be pissed about her. Well, maybe I would be pissed about both of them. I don't know, but I think it's just a little like, I don't know. Like, I would definitely just round it up to $22 if I would round, you know. Oh, fucking hell, I didn't know that. I just have to kind of mark that, and they show me how many euros this is. 18 euros and 64 cents. You know, I think this example here is not such a good one, because they actually are like, okay, you know, the actual change or the actual money would be, or the amount of money would be $21.25, and he or she just pays $21, and it is totally fine, and fucking Steven hates you for doing that. I don't actually know, like, but I get this one. You know, if you're actually paying less than the other person, because this just totally feels different. At least for me. I don't know. I just really feel like this. And unfortunately, my light went out. Why would people prefer someone who underpays? Wait a second. Who underpays? Now I'm curious. So when people exchange in these behaviors, it makes the relationship feel transactional, says Kim, assistant professor of marketing at University of Virginia's Darden School of Business. In other words, we don't want to feel like our friends are keeping price track of what we owe them, and vice versa. It undermines our bond by turning a trust-based relationship, say a friend offers you a ride home, no strings attached, into a transactional tit-for-tat relationship where your friend expects reimbursement for gas. Or gas, actually. I don't know, like, to just have to turn on the light once again. Here it is. Actually, now the fucking light is in a fucking plastic, just plastic handwear, like, you know, you just, you know, use for cleaning things. It actually works pretty good. It actually really works pretty good. The light is fairly bright. The light is fairly bright, but it's not also too bright, and it is a little bit softening everything, like, you know, the shadows you see there. Without this kind of glove, it is actually a glove. Thanks, brain. The glove is actually making these shadows you can basically see there way smoother than they would have been. So retailer or bank teller can say this costs 22.11, and we can't just decide to give him 22. We have to pay the 11 cents, explains Norton, professor of business administration at Harvard Business School. When we apply the same logic to our interpersonal relationships, like our friends and family, it feels like we are treating them like a retailer or a bank. It suggests that we see them as someone we need to settle our scores with instead of someone close to us. Yeah, I somehow get it, what they say, even though I don't know. Maybe it's just because I don't feel like this, and I will never ever underpay. If I'm paying something, I will totally pay the exact number or just round it up. But I would never ever round it down. I don't know. I wouldn't just do it. Maybe it also just comes up to the culture you're living in. Maybe in Europe it is somehow different than in the States, and or just also in the local kind of culture. Like in Austria, it might be different than in the UK. And maybe there in the UK it might be different in London than in, I don't know, Birmingham or Dublin or something. I don't know. Yeah, I know Dublin is not in the UK. I know that. This study isn't just about exchanging money digitally. There are a lot of other ways digitally. Because I've pronounced it a little bit weirdly, there are a lot of other ways you can engage in these behaviors in the offline world, says Kim. For instance, you call your sister to catch up. When she says she can talk for only 4 minutes and then tells you at the 4-minute mark that her time is up, you may be annoyed by not knowing why. You could be feeling like she has put a specific interpersonal or impersonal limit on a personal interaction. This concept that we are studying is not just confined to digital trends, but it's reflective of what's more broad, general human behavior. Well, also with the whole phoning kind of example, I don't actually know. Like it's pretty tough for me, because I feel like, if this person is saying to me like, okay, I only gotta have just 4 minutes of time. Yeah, okay, I gotta have to just, appreciate the time that I'm having with this person. But I don't know, maybe there are some generalizing things you can say about it. Like, okay, people don't like it when somebody is just somehow building up some boundaries. In fact, the researchers found that participants readily related to the study. Norton says, we've asked people, do you know somebody who's like this? And almost everybody can immediately generate someone, and they typically don't like that person all that much. So what can we learn here? One takeaway is to try not to be the person in your group who always insists on splitting the bill precisely and counting everything, whether it's cents or minutes or any type of currency. Says Norton, it doesn't have negative personal consequences. It does have negative personal consequences. By loosening up in your transactions with the people in your life, you're showing that your feelings for them transcends money or time. Yeah, makes sense. And as always, on the bottom of this ideas.that.com article is always a video, which is sometimes related. It is always related to the article, but it is not actually the article. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the case that this person, so Michael Norton, actually is also talking about the same exact thing than here on the in the article. So it doesn't really have to be the case. Something that I've seen, something that somehow was a little bit, kind of weird for me, because I thought like, wow, this is the exact same video. Maybe this is even just a transcribed text out of the video and whatsoever, and just a little bit kind of made nicely and whatsoever. But no, it isn't. It isn't. But nevertheless, actually, this is the end of the episode. I do hope that you've enjoyed it. I do hope that you've learned something from it. Maybe you have, maybe not. I really hope you have. And at least I really hope that you've had a great time listening to what I was saying and or listening to what the whole thing was all about. And yeah, with that being said, I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and success. And I hope that you're going to remind yourself on how you're going to be remembered, which means your legacy, which means how people will remember you. Whether you are remembered as a good or bad person is totally up to you. It's only in your hands. You can decide. You can literally decide. It's not that easy, but it is simple. It is not easy. And with that being said, I wish you the best and I see you. Thank you very, very much for watching.